the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Monday morning. We are so glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us here on Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Faith here to get your week started. Good to see you this morning, Faith.
Good morning. Good to see you too. You sound a little bit better, don't you?
I mean, it's only been going, about 2.5 weeks. So I guess the stubbornness has worn it down. But anyway, yeah, I'm a little better, getting there. I mean, crud city is all I can tell you. But anyway, we're going to fight through that. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, especially with what happened over the weekend with Auburn. It's just the faucet just not going to cut off when it comes to players getting in this portal. And so we are almost to the mark that I said with 30. I mean, we're going to pass that. Still got a few more days before the portal opens up. And, Auburn's got some issues in some key positions. Obviously, offensive line. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the zero loyalty. I mean, and it really is that to me. I think that when you look at it, there's a handful of guys out there that might be loyal to a program, but for past that, it ain't much. And so some stuff transpired over the weekend I thought was eye-opening, and some live videos that went on with some players from different schools. I think it was a good snapshot of kind of where fans should understand most of these players feel like they are with most of these schools. It's not just Auburn, it's anywhere. Is Byron Brown a guarantee to come to Auburn? I don't know. We talked about that. I think a lot of people feel like it is, but he's one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the portal, and just to assume that he shows up at Auburn, I think probably is not the right thing. You hope he does. Auburn needs him, definitely. But we'll see. And then, of course, basketball back on the court tonight against a nobody. I mean, let's just be honest. Queens, I had never even heard. I know where Queens is. It's in New York. But hadn't heard much about Queens. So that should be the last tune-up before SEC play starts. So there you go. Full slate this morning.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I think there's a lot of frustration too between a lot of things that we'll get to kind of in the second segment, I guess, if you want to call it. So
yeah, I think first things first is you look at Connor Lew declaring for the NFL draft, which is great for him. Kudos to him. Hate that he didn't get to finish the season after the knee injury, and but on the selfish side for Auburn, not good. Was very much hoping that he would return to Auburn and be an anchor on an offensive line that is depleted. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, it's funny how quickly things can change. And I know that Auburn didn't get the production out of the offensive line that we all talked about in the offseason and leading up, being the most veteran group and all that, blah, blah, blah. Still had offensive line issues for the most part this year. Now, most of those guys that we talked about are gone, either through attrition, through moving on from graduation, or out of eligibility, or declaring for the draft, or getting in the transfer portal. When you look at this setup now, and who's returning for this offensive line, if they don't go out and do some major work in the portal, Faith, this is not a slap on any of these guys, but I mean, we've got the depth chart right in front of us. It doesn't look like it does not look good.
Last year, we should have expected something like this of needing another new turnover, because we talked about how this group was the most experienced group on the entire team, which meant that they were veteran players. And a lot of them only had one more year left to play,
Right.
whether it was their first year at Auburn or, it was their fourth year at Auburn. Now, you have to have that turnover because it was the most experienced, oldest group on the field. But looking at it now, if Auburn goes and does the exact same thing that they did last year and go get some guys out of the portal,
They got no choice.
but they get the same quality of guys, or they
Well,
I mean, it
can this group coach them up better is the question. I mean,
yeah.
Jake Thornton obviously did not get anywhere near the potential out of that offensive line this year that everybody was thinking that Auburn was going to get from a veteran group. Left tackle right now, Ty Buster.
Yep.
Broderick Shule at left guard, Kale Ellis at center,
All these
Jacoby.
guys are freshmen.
Right, because there ain't anybody left. I mean, Dylan Senda in the portal. I mean, you look at all this. I mean, you look at the way this thing is right now. Is all these guys are in the portal or they're gone. I mean, it just in a very much need position for Auburn that Auburn hasn't been good at in a long time. I just don't remember the last time Auburn was really solid on the offensive line. And when you look at the portal right now, Favor Edwin, Seth Wilford, Xavier Chaplin, DeAndre Carter, those are the ones that are in the portal right now. So, yeah, and then with Connor Lew declaring for the NFL draft, this is a very, very depleted offensive line group that, again, games are won and lost in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all the great skill position guys that you want, but if you can't win battles in the trenches and you can't protect your quarterback and you can't open running lanes for your running backs, it's all useless. So that's going to be the first challenge for this coaching staff, is to go out and, I mean, I guess like a mass unit, go out and repair and replenish a very depleted group.
Again, find another seasoned offensive line, but some that maybe know their history too, know what they struggle with, instead of, totally missing some part like that and then end up halfway through the season finding out. But yeah, get some guys that actually have proven themselves too. Like something that Auburn has done is just get guys off the bench and expect to bring them to your program and have a winning program. Now,
Yeah, well, they haven't been
I'm
able to
not
coach
saying
up
at
the
the
ones they've
offensive
had.
line position, but
No,
I'm
you're
saying at
right.
other positions, that's what they've done is they've gone and got guys. And here's the question, Brett, for me and I think a lot of other people, the way that Auburn is doing this incentives and not paying more than other schools, when you go and you have a position like the offensive line that you really need to go and get some guys out of the portal and you're not overpaying like some of the other schools, that does make it a lot harder to not get guys that are off the bench.
Well, all right. So here's the situation. You have the current setup plus everybody's brand new. So you add that and you're trying to implement a new, performance-based incentive program while you have a mass exodus. If you don't think this coming up year is going to be massive growing pains. Now, again, the pain from this past year is completely different pain than the pain that Auburn fans are going to have to endure this coming year. It's because you're tearing it all down and trying to rebuild it. You're trying to do something completely different and rebuild a culture that we've all said has been needed. because when you
Right.
continue to cut corners and you try to do things to vault yourself to the top and not do it the right way. But again, it's in a day and age where now it's really hard to do it the right way, because even when you're doing it and feel like you've got a program doing it the right way, you got guys leaving and exiting. And now again, with this one portal window, it's going to really ramp up the urgency to get things done in a 15-day window. In a 15-day window, you got to issue ultimatums to guys that are on the fence, and you got to say, "Hey, won't you here?" But you got to make a decision, and you got this many days to do it, because I have to move on because of the way the situation is. So, yeah, it's dire. I don't know any other way to say it. And again, while everybody else is out there doing the same thing you're doing, you're trying to reinvent and reinstitute a new culture with a bunch of new coaches and obviously a bunch of new players. Everybody's going to have to learn each other very quickly. And then not to mention, like, I know there's other schools going through the same thing, but I mean, Auburn's in the top out there right now in transfer portal guys in the country.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was gonna touch on, was the fact that Auburn's not the only school in this position. There's a lot of other schools having the exact same problem, and a lot of other SEC schools that, had a huge coaching turnover, and then a lot of guys leaving. But I think the main difference that we're seeing right now is that a lot of Auburn people are behind Coach Golish and the other coaches on the staff. Now, maybe some people don't know what he's going to be able to do actually in the SEC, but having your fan base and having everybody in Auburn behind you, I think does make a huge difference in how everything is going to turn out, because Auburn knows that there are going to be a lot of growing pains, because look at the last 5 years.
And
Those
exactly,
weren't growing pains. Those were literally just self-inflicted wounds.
that was failure to perform pains. And so, I shared John Calipari's thing on my story yesterday. I don't know if you saw that or not. But he's spot on. I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Did you see that? Hey, do you know what I'm talking about with John
I'm gonna
Calipari?
be honest, I was not on my phone at all yesterday.
That's good.
It
That's
was a
one.
Sunday.
Sunday, fun day, Sunday.
I let the Lord do his work of, "Hey,
There you
let there
go.
be rest." I said, "Yes, sir."
Let's do some rest. And much needed for sure.
Yes.
All right. So going back to I thought this was interesting. Power Four teams currently, as of Sunday, this past yesterday, uh, with the most anticipated transfer portal departures. That means how many actually leave. Okay. Doesn't mean how many are in the portal or how many is going to get in the portal. Oklahoma State with 43 anticipated departures.
That's big time.
Then Iowa State, 33. Florida State, 25. West Virginia, 24. Auburn and Florida both with 23. Kansas State, 22. And Mississippi State with 22. That's tops in the country. Those are the top, what is that? 6, 8, the top 8 schools anticipated portal departures, according to 24/7 Sports Portal. That is, and it could be more. That's it. That's just a guess.
Yeah, that's anticipation.
So now all of those guys aren't obviously. Again, some of them are pieces, but you're losing some key guys if some of them do follow through. Jay Crawford, Kayan Lee, some of those guys. Auburn did pick up a commitment yesterday, by the way. We'll talk about that. I thought that was
Yeah.
big. Another receiver, not to say, okay, but we've done well when it comes to recruiting receivers. And going to need to add a few more again because of some of the departures. But like need position, it's a glaring issue. And then the defensive line's the same thing. We're not going to talk about them today. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. The defensive line's the same situation. I mean, when you look at this depth chart, Faith, just right off the hoof, I mean, all the way across the board, it would be second-year guys,
Yep.
of which most did not play this year. If things stayed the way they stayed. If of course, you're going to go out and get some help out of the portal. But if you had to, let's just say you drop the ball and you don't go out and get what you need at some of these positions, man, you better learn to coach them up pretty fast. And then we got some guys, we don't even have depth at those positions. We don't even have anybody behind a couple of these guys right now. I mean, so when you sit there as a coach and a coaching staff and you draw this on a whiteboard and you go, we got 15 days, boys, try to not only to put good players on this roster, but to fill some gaps of being able to even have somebody at that position. I mean, that's how dire this is.
Hey, maybe it's a good thing Auburn didn't make it to the playoffs and they don't have to worry about
They're always
anything
trying
like
to find a
that.
silver lining, right?
Yeah, always.
Well, they haven't had any problem sniffing that the last 5 years. So would love for that to have changed. So yeah, and I see the comments coming in. Glenn says all of Texas's running backs are in the portal. They are. I mean, again, nobody is immune to this. And I've said it a million times. You have too. I've heard everybody else start to say it now. If you don't get some type of contract in place, this thing's going to – I know you think it's bad now. It's only going to get worse. And it kind of leads us into the second part of what we want to talk about this morning, Faith. But before we do that, I want to talk about some of our great partners.
Scentsy Green for air that's cool and clean this holiday season that's ending. And guys, I don't know wherever y'all have been, but it's been 70 degrees. It was a warm Christmas, and it is about to get down to the 30s this next week. So you want to make sure you have a reliable unit, and Scentsy Green will install a carrier unit for you, and those are going to be the most reliable units that you can go out there and find. And Scentsy Green's going to save you thousands of dollars. I mean, they're the best people that I would trust in my house. And, you know, if you want warm, clean air, again, go with Scentsy Green for insulation, HVAC repairs, anything. Scentsy Green is going to be the place for you, whether or not you're in Auburn, Lake Martin, anywhere.
Absolutely. They'll come to you and get it taken care of. Scout Program Management is a full construction program management company that will take your project from start to finish. They will make sure everything is done correctly. They will hold people accountable. I say this every single day on this program. It should be ingrained in your brain out there. If you are trying to manage a big, massive, multi-million-dollar project, why would you try to do that on your own? Why would you try to put somebody on your staff in charge of that when you know they don't have the time nor the expertise? That's why you hire Scout Program Management. Check them out online, scoutpm.com for your next big project.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn, one of our favorite places to go. Bunkers is the place for you to go for all the fun of sports, music, fun, anything you want in downtown Auburn, like the best deals that you can find and some of the best happy hour food deals, whatever it might be. Bunkers is going to be the place for you. So if you've got a lot of football to watch or even basketball, Bunkers is the place for y'all to go.
Yeah, and I saw the video they put up getting ready for New Year's. Man, that place is just completely transformed. It's a different place.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's just awesome. And they've changed the theme and really kind of more of a lounge bar atmosphere now, which is awesome, with multiple stages for live entertainment. And then the Kart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, easy go Cushman Yamaha Club car, whatever it is that you're looking for, custom made golf carts, 6-seaters, 8-seaters, whatever it is for your business. Man, they got everything. There's nothing they can't get for you. in any brand. So call them 334-231-2205, or better yet, go see Harrison. Tell him Auburn Blitz sent you. He'll hook you up. I'm telling you, man, the deals, Faith, that you and I saw when we were down there last time, we thought there were mistakes. I'm
ready to go back so I can test drive a few more.
I'm ready.
So.
I mean, yep. I had to turn you around. We were booking down the road. I was like, I hope the battery's charged, because it's going to be a long walk back if this thing dies. So we're gonna, but yeah, go check out all of our great partners. Like, look, again, the common theme with all the people that we're associated with, they just happen to be the best at what they do.
That's it.
Man, I love it. So, all right. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of text. You and I talked about this a long time this weekend. Just disappointing. And I'm not going to alienate one person. I think people get on social media and they get on lives and they get a bunch of guys in there and you cut up and stuff, and you kid around. You maybe say some things that when it goes off, you go, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe but the bad thing about social media is once you do that, it's out there. And you can kill it and you can delete it, but somebody got it. I promise you. And so all I heard yesterday was, did you see the live video between Malcolm and several other guys, Chris Murray, Deuce, and all that? And yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was them just kidding. But Malcolm obviously has gotten somewhere along the line, and we've heard multiple different speculation things on, they didn't even meet. He and Alex Golis didn't even meet, and that he ghosted the staff before they had a chance. I don't know any of that. I honestly don't. I know some of you go like, oh, you've talked to him, but I have not. I don't know if that was the case. The last conversation that we had was me and you had right after the Iron Bowl, and he was in good spirits and, really looking forward to seeing kind of what was going to happen. And, somewhere along the way, I don't know if somebody has steered him in another direction. Don't know where he's going to end up or whatever. But, I think what I got out of that video is just confirms what we've all been thinking, is that, you may attach yourself to somebody and they may be your favorite player and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of these players, and any's a strong word. I'm going to take that back. A lot of these guys are looking for the next best deal. And if you saw John Calipari, the post I had on my story, and it's kind of gotten out there with him talking about the mess that college athletics is in, and he was talking about, he knew what it was like to be poor because he was poor at one point in time. And, you learn to appreciate things, and it's exactly what we've said. We said it last week, Faith. You're training a society for failure. You're setting a society up for failure, because he said, let me tell you what he said. You know what's worse than being poor? Being poor, coming into money, and then going back to being poor. And he said, not knowing how to handle your – and look, these are again, Kirby Smart got up there and complained last week at a press conference. Those are the guys that have to do something about this. They're the ones that actually have a voice that I guess somebody would listen to. But if you don't think this is not going to stop, you're crazy. This is going to stop. This is never going to stop until somebody in some group put some rules and regulations in. But what the disheartening thing, Faith, is, and I'm going to get your take on it, is that, hey, there's no part of them that cares about these schools. You and I are passionate about Auburn and our friends and our family because we went to school there and we graduated from there, and there's a tie there that binds us. And that there's no tie that binds any of these guys to anything. Calipari said, hey, do you think after somebody's transferred 4 times and they're out of eligibility, they're going to graduate from that last school? He said, do you really think that's going to happen? He's speaking what we've all been saying, and that the ignoring of reality. I had a coach tell me, Faith, a couple of years ago, that he's very concerned with a bunch of young people, men and women, that have come into fame very quickly, and that when that spotlight is off of them, within 3 years, what are they going to be doing with their life? Do they have a job? Do they have a career? Do they have something set up? When the spotlight's not on them anymore. And there's a lot of people that are starting to worry about that.
So going back to the first part about the whole live and everything, and one of the quotes that stood out to me that Malcolm said was, "I got sold a dream at Auburn that I thought was going to come true." The thing that I understand leaving a school when you're not used to your full ability, but if you've worked hard enough to get there, if that makes sense, like if you've done all
Right.
the work, unless, if there's somebody better than you at the position that, you're competing for, whoever's whoever is, outplaying you, they deserve to play. But then going and completely bashing the school that gave you a name, gave you money, gave you a platform, and you go and you talk all this crap about who this new coaching staff, first of all, that's come in that you don't even really know. But again, the coaching staff that gave you an opportunity, that actually held your hand while you were going through some of the toughest stuff in your life to this point, and really, really supported you through all of that and protected you from a lot of things. You're gonna have a what you've said about Auburn, have it be the most negative thing, and have it be that you're never gonna step foot on Auburn's campus ever again, and that, you know, you can't stand the school, whatever it might be. And I know, Brett, that you have been close to him, and I've, developed a business relationship with him because of, you and what we do. And I really like Malcolm, but I think the way that he's handled this absolutely shows that, number one, nobody cares about, you know, where you've come from, what you've grown from, and who's held your hand along the way, because guess what? The second that you get a little
Yep.
bit of money, you are out on your own. And guess what? If you can go and support yourself, go support yourself. But if you are going to bash the people that took you to where you are, that to me is the lowest of the low. I think that is disgusting. And I think that is one of the most embarrassing things about it, too, because guess what? The amount of people that have your jersey with your name on it on the back, that doesn't mean anything to you. And that also doesn't mean anything to them at this point, because they're so disappointed in the fact that you handled it this way and they supported you too. They're the ones that went and bought your jersey. They're the ones that, a lot of these guys that donate to the school, that donate to your paycheck that you're taking, and you're about to go talk poorly about everybody in Auburn. You're not going to step foot back on the campus for everything that they've done to you. To me, that is complete bull. And that shows the kind of person that you are. And that shows the kind of person that you don't respect anybody around you, and you only care about yourself. And I don't surround myself with those people. And I think that's pathetic. And that's what this sport has turned into. Now, on the other side, you've got Cam Coleman, who I think he really does care about each and every of those little kids that walk around with that number 8 on them. And every single person that says, Cam, like, you've done so much for this school. He loves the place. He goes into so many interviews all the time with so many random, like, little TikTokers, or goes around and talks to fans. I think that, to me, that is what you're supposed to do with yourself when you have a platform, when you have, the recognition and the name that people are walking around on their backs. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, his family too, I see his family every single time on the sidelines at the games. His mom, his brother, his dad, like, always super, super nice, super, super hello to everybody. That, to me, has been probably one of the biggest impacts on Cam Coleman and his staying, or his decision making at
Sure.
Auburn.
And look, first of
Sorry.
all, I think you just summed everything up perfectly. my applause to what you just said. I think you just clip that and run with it. I think that, to me, the video was a snapshot, and it should be an awakening to all the fans out there that majority of these guys, it's all about money. It's all about the next. And again, I don't know what. Here's what you got to understand: when you get on social media and you say stuff like that, you can't take it back. You can apologize, you can say whatever, but you've summed up every single thing into a 5 to 7 minute video, and everything that went on wasn't bad for you. Like, I understand that things didn't work out the way they should have. I don't think anybody wants to lose, and maybe you didn't feel like you got a good enough shot to help. And we all said that and defended Malcolm and other players on that several got underutilized, massively underutilized. But what I got out of that video is what you just said, that the fan day stuff and all of the reasons why people and fans love college football, those are gone. This roster turnover and new guys every year wearing, the only thing that stays the same is the color of the jersey and the logo on the side of the helmet. That's the only thing that stayed the same in college athletics. Everything else has been topsy-turvy. And you have in society has created this. They've created this culture of, hey, I need more. It's about me. It's not about the team part of this thing. And I know it's a massive business. And I know college football making tons of money. And so the players deserve their share of it. But we've gone completely off the rails here.
If you want to turn it into what the NFL is, turn it into that. Stop trying to make it what it's not.
Well,
and stop trying to go and beat around the bush. Turn it into the NFL, sign contracts. And guess what? If you're just going to go and try to sue whoever it might be when you sign a contract because you can't stick to the loyalty and you can't stick to what you sign on paper, that to me.
Well, the immaturity part of it, Faith, is what you just said just a minute ago, that the fallout goes way beyond just the individual and them and their decision. It's the jerseys, it's the kids, it's the fans that support all that you just wad up and throw in the trash because you're whatever, for whatever reason, you're pissed off at the situation. And again, I'm defending that there should have been some better utilization of some of these guys. There's
no question. But just like Steven said, prove your worth.
Right.
Prove that you can do that. Sure, towards the end, in Malcolm's case scenario, that he was getting used more towards the end of the season. Everybody saw that. Everyone saw. So guess what? I'm sure Alex Golish and his offensive staff saw all of that. So I'm sure they wanted to use him in that way. But the way that he just absolutely burned it all.
Yeah, he burned bridges. There's no doubt, and that's what happens when you get online and you decide to get in a group chat and say the things that you say. And again, if anything, you should have seen that, hey, the problem was Hugh Freeze, and once Hugh Freeze exited, then you got a fair chance. And look, maybe we were all sold a dream by Hugh Freeze, and that didn't come true. Not just the daggum players, the fans and the people that buy the tickets and everything else that goes with it. I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. Without the university, ain't nobody talking about any of this.
Yep.
You don't have a stadium to play in. You don't have a team to play for. You don't have an athletic facility to go to. All these guys out there, if you took the universities away, where would they go? They're gonna go to the pros right out of high school. All of these guys that think they're worth way more than they probably are, they're gonna get a contract in the NFL. Like, the NFL has a 53-man roster. Okay. A lot of these colleges have 100 guys on their roster. So again, reality going to set in at some point beyond, I don't know, whenever it's over for everybody, it's different. You know what I mean? It's a problem that we're creating
And enabling it.
And it goes back, and I know we say this all the time about, and everybody laughs about this, but we used to talk about academic ineligibility. They used to be major parts of our shows. We used to go, well, we don't know if he's going to qualify yet, but does anybody ever talk about that anymore? You know why they don't talk about it? Because it's a non-factor, because nobody's even paying attention to that anymore. I remember the days where we had compliance and everybody was so, man, Auburn's got the hardest compliance part. They're just, I don't know why they're so hard on their own people and blah, blah, blah. And all these other schools are doing. Nobody even talks about that anymore. Does anybody even go to class? It's a mockery is what it is. And it's like,
they go to class, and do they also graduate with a degree?
And John Calipari said it. Do you really think somebody's transferring 3, 4, 5 times? Are they getting any? When do they go to class? When can you go to class? Do they even know what they're trying? And again, I'm bringing that up because that's where we've gravitated to. It used to be student athlete, and you may laugh at it and say, okay, they took bowling and racquetball and stuff like that, and people helped them and that, but they still were made to go to class, and they still were made to be a student because you're in college. Now this thing is turned into show up, act like a pro player, go to the complex, spend 9-10 hours a day at the complex, go home, come back to the complex. And all you do is study football, and all you do is work out and go to the nutritionist and do all this kind of stuff. Like, you never hear of anybody doing anything when it comes to the academic side. And people may, watching this, some of you may be laughing, going, they're out of touch. It's not that I'm out of touch. It's the fact that we're in this situation because we have totally turned away from the whole point of why you go to college and why you go play college athletics. We have skipped rungs on the ladder. You know, all of a sudden now it's whatever your worth is, give it to me now. Whether it's right out of high school or wherever it is, if coming out of the portal, hey, look, I told you, I'm way, way more apt to pay somebody bigger dollars out of the portal than I am out of high school. And Lane Kiffin said that the other day on the broadcast. I don't know if you saw that during the LSU game.
Yeah.
He said it has changed my philosophy in going out, and he talked about Louisiana being per capita very strong. We want to keep those kids in state, but I mean, you're not filling your roster with a bunch of high school guys anymore.
Well, think about how many times that you and I have gone to a high school in Alabama to cover the team, and how we hear some of them are going to go to JUCO, or they're going to go to some smaller school in state
Right.
so that they can transfer the next year.
Well, and that's what these smaller colleges are, you know, out of Power 4 colleges are doing. And look, it may help them now. It may help them get better athletes. Now, they also understand their role. They know they're not going to keep them maybe but 1 or 2 years if they're really good. But with the portal and the limited roster space and for Power 4 teams, it's going to help the Troys and the Jacksonville States and make them even stronger, because now they're going to be able to go out and get guys out of high school that probably would have gone to a Power 4, but now there's no room for them right now. So that high 3-star or mid 3-star is going to go somewhere, show out for a year, get film, and then be able to transfer to a Power 4. So there's positives and negatives, but the negatives far outweigh the positives right now with the current structure of college. All right, Byron Brown. I think you look at it from a situation of, hey, when you look at the top quarterbacks in the portal, Sam Leavitt, according to On3's transfer portal rankings, Sam Leavitt is 1. Drew Mestamaker from North Texas is 2, and then Byron Brown is 3. And you got Josh Hoover at TCU, Dylan Raiola at Nebraska, Brendan Sorsby at Cincinnati, DJ Lagway, and then on down, you got 2 Iowa State guys in the top 10, 2 of their quarterbacks. So, according to this, Byron Brown, one of the top, man, would be a huge get from a consistency standpoint and a continuity standpoint between Alex Golish and Byron Brown if Auburn can get him.
Yeah. Have you heard any other schools talking about Byron Brown and the interest in him?
Miami.
I've heard Miami, and I've even heard LSU too.
Look, if you're number 3 in the portal, I don't know why everybody does, that's looking or maybe needs a quarterback is not looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the obvious path probably is Auburn, but it's not a guarantee. Again, because you got somebody out there that may be willing to throw a number at him that you have to go, hey.
Do you think that
you too, Jeff, right?
Do you think that because he's proven himself under Alex Golish and his staff that he's being thrown a higher number than he would with some of the other guys out of the portal that
That he
he
would have
has
normally been? May have to.
That's what I probably think is going to happen.
But I think you have to get that right. I think I don't know that. Look, I think we all want to keep Deuce, and I think they're working things out with him because he got on that live and he only was on there for a little bit and he was really kind of pro Auburn and he was kidding around with some players from some other schools. And
wait, first of all, sorry, not to cut you off,
good.
But when we've been talking about all this NIL, I have to say Deuce Knight doing his toy drive has to be one of the best things to see during this holiday season in the use of NIL and the use of what you're supposed to do to give back and, how everyone has gone and supported him, even though, he didn't even play too much, but he still went, set up a whole toy drive for a bunch of people to go out there and, get toys. They were smoking some sort of meat, feeding people. I mean, that to me says a lot about Deuce Knight and his family because his entire family was there helping. That's what NIL is supposed to be used for.
I 100% agree.
So I think that for him, he got a lot of accolades from me.
Yeah, we've seen other players around the country do that. I mean, there's all types of different stories where, players give back to kids. I think Omar Madsen did something.
Yeah.
I think he did something in the Auburn area. But, yeah, I mean.
I just wanted to say that because we just had so much negativity that I was going off of. And so.
There are some that do good things.
Yeah.
That you're exactly right. And that's why I said when I retracted that and I said I don't think any of these any's a strong word, but there's a majority of these players that there's zero loyalty to that uniform, to that school. And it's just about the moment. And you can be you can be on a playoff team and there's going to be guys leaving off these playoff teams when everything is said and done.
Sorry, you were going on about him, about Deuce maybe staying or what?
Well, I just said he was positive on that live, and so that was good, and he got off pretty quick. But then some of the stories out there, the flying back and getting on the private jet and going and spending all this money and coming back, it's so irresponsible, man. It's just. I when you're young and you're in that situation and you think you're on top of the world, you think you're, invincible and you think this is going to go on forever and that this is an endless supply. No, it's not. There's a lot of pro athletes out there that don't have a pot to what in. And they had tons and tons of money, way more than these guys have. And they blew through it like leaves out in the yard. So, it just, you're not teaching. And, some people on here may go, well, they're stuck in the old age. Maybe I am. But you know what? I come from a school of, hey, learn and earn your way. You get what you get. Nobody's ever slighting you for your abilities. But you got to go prove what you do. And it's got to be within reason. I mean, look, I agree. The schools held all the power for a long time over the players. Now the pendulum has swung completely in the other direction. The players hold all the power over the schools and over the coaches. And neither one is right. You got to find a way to get it balanced. And the only way you do that, and we can say whatever we want to say, and I'll keep saying it this way, and you have said it too already this morning, is sign contracts. If you're going to go this path, and we've already gone down this path, and this is a pro sport, whether you like it or not, if you want to cut down on the chaos, you cut the transfer thing out, like John Calipari said, like it used to be. You get to transfer one time, and after that, dude, you're there. All this hopping around and TJ Finley taking a college world tour is a joke. I mean, seriously. You got to figure out a way to have some consistency in your life and build something and plant your feet somewhere. So the only way you do that sometimes is force people to do it.
Or sitting out a year after transferring.
That's my point. Sitting out. Yes, transfer one time where you can play immediately, but after that, you got to sit a year.
Yep. And
it's your decision. That's part of this. You want to be a grown-up. You want to get the grown-up money. You got to make grown-up decisions. So the solutions are there. How can people not come up with this?
Because right now, I'll be honest, they've found a loophole through almost every single.
Because everything just gets, lawyers just take everything to court and they sue and they win. That's how the transfer thing, sitting out thing got wiped out. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, now you can go anywhere every year with no penalty. All right, let's get to a few more of our partners, and then we'll close out with a little basketball talk. And obviously, the holiday season was busy for them, and it never stops.
Oliver Ross for all of your spring weddings or spring day parties for your sorority, fraternities, whatever it might be. Oliver Ross is going to be the bartending service for you. Professional licensed bartenders. I mean, you can't get much better than having somebody go there, set everything up, and then break it all down when the event's over. That to me sells it within itself. So calling Oliver Ross, 20 people up to 20,000. I don't know how many people you know, but I'm sure they can accommodate for every single person there.
They absolutely can. No crowd too big for them. Russell Medical Center, one of the top 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. We love being associated with them because when you go and you look for quality health care, great doctors, great facilities, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a place that's going to get things done the right way, and you're going to be in the right care, especially with your family and whoever it is that you care about. Russell Medical Center, connected with the UAB healthcare system, one of the tops in the world. That should be all I need to say every single day on here. And that's why they're voted one of the top 3 hospitals. Check them out. They are in Alexander City and Alex City Marine. 256-215-3474. Drove by there the other day, saw people out there looking at boats. And, man, I tell you, it's just like some type of tease. Every single time I pop this picture up, I'm going to have to change the picture to something
Time
else.
for you to go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, just,
it's that easy.
And I know it's coming up soon, and they're going to have a big sale going on, and we're going to talk about that. But they can go ahead and hook you up on an individual deal now. You don't have to wait for some spring sale coming down the line. Not just these center consoles, but pontoons, new and used, whatever it is you're looking for, they got it. They also rent boats, but you don't want to rent a boat. You want to buy a boat. It needs to be yours. 256-215-3474. All right, Auburn basketball taking on Queens tonight. And again, Auburn not in the top 25 right now. Warm-up game is based, this is not a very good team. It's a 5-7 Queens team. But Auburn has played a tough schedule. They are 8-4. I think we all know now, it's clear as a bell, where the deficiencies are in this basketball team and where the strengths are. Auburn definitely has a couple of guys that can score, but from a team standpoint, offensively, they have not played very well against some of the tougher opponents. The front court has suffered from a deficiency of bodies and height and rim protectors. And so you know what you got to work on, and you know what you got to make up the difference in is playing defense. And Auburn has suffered on that side too. You know, when you know you're deficient offensively, you got to ramp it up defensively, and you got to create possessions, and you got to create opportunities. And against some of the better teams, I think you look at it, Auburn suffered greatly, and the distribution of the basketball was horrible. Faith, like when you go through games, you have 5, 6 assists as a team. That's not going to win very many games against good opponents.
Yeah, like you said, the distribution of the ball has got to change, and it's got to increase a lot more because, I mean, seriously, the way that the assists have been going throughout the season has been tragic, and it looks terrible. So that needs to have a huge turnaround. And I think Auburn having this time off and, maybe being able to be prepared, even though this is a not great Queens team. I mean, Auburn's going to start SEC play here in just a little bit. And so you've got to get ready, and you've got to start practicing what you're going to be doing as a team against some more difficult opponents that you're going to see. So start with this Queens team. Start by distributing the ball, making one more pass before shooting it. So try to keep your eyes up and look to see who else is open and who can make something happen. How can you make a play happen for somebody else?
Yeah, and again, not to fast forward, but Saturday you got to go to Athens. And Athens, Athens has been a place. Auburn's had Georgia. They've been able to go to Athens and get wins the last several years. Georgia's ranked 23rd now. They're 11-1. Going to be tough. Then you come back home on the 6th on Tuesday, and you have Texas A&M. So there's your first 2 SEC games, and we all know it's tough on the road. Doesn't matter how good you are every year. It's tough sledding on the road in the SEC. So what Christmas bonus, Justin? I haven't gotten a bonus. I'd like to, but I haven't. If you know where mine is, I guess I got the jelly of the month. I'm still waiting. Maybe it fell in between the seats of the Postal Service driver, like Chevy Chase's did in Christmas Vacation. Then you get it, and it's the Jelly of the Month Club. So anyway, with that being said, we'll watch that 9 o'clock tonight. God,
oh my gosh,
really?
Too late.
Yep, but we'll be here in the morning to talk about it for sure. So we'll be back with you in the morning. So again, we appreciate all of you. Over 13,000 subscribers this weekend.
Thank you.
13,000 subscribers, and appreciate all of them so very much. And the likes out there, make sure you go and hit the like button. Man, we've had a couple here that have really blown up lately, and we appreciate that. So help us spread the word. And again, we're not even a year into this thing. And I'm just proud of where we are. Faith and I have had a lot of airtime since February of last year. We have sat in front of a camera and a computer screen a lot, and we're going to be doing it even more this coming up here in 2026. So we had somebody send us a comment that I thought was pretty fitting. They said, "Look, even as bad as Auburn has been, like, you guys are living a dream that the rest of us want to live. You guys get to get up and you get paid to talk about Auburn athletics and college athletics and all types of different things." And we definitely agree 100%.
Yes. So thank you. And couldn't do it without everybody watching.
That's right. Wouldn't have anybody to talk to. I guess we could talk to ourselves on here. We could have a meeting, have a StreamYard meeting. Every day, but wouldn't be near as fun without all of the subscribers out there. We appreciate all of you so much, and all of you that find us on Facebook to continue to do that and go out there and like our Instagram page. That's where we send most of our updates. I know a lot of people love the X, and we do stuff on X, but Instagram, we send a lot of our updates and stuff there as soon as things break. So make sure you go out and find us on Instagram there. And you can get all those updates. But Faith, you got anything else this morning?
Nope. Hope everybody has the best week ever. Be nice. Everyone be careful and safe when traveling for the New Year's.
We said that last week for Christmas and even more for New Year's because, look, I hate to say it, idiots everywhere abound. And
they're among us everywhere.
Absolutely. Traveling, be very mindful because, and, I hate to say this too, but if you ain't got to be on the road late, don't.
Yep.
This time of year. It's just better to be where you are and stay where you are. And it's just not a lot of good things happen that late at night, especially around New Year's and New Year's Eve. So, all right. As Faith said, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. We'll be back with you tomorrow for more of the Auburn Blitz podcast at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you then.